Okay, looks like everyone's in. Good morning and welcome to this special customer webinar. I'm Aaron Gillette, Marketing Director at Town News. After a long COVID-19 pause, in-person events are back. To help you take advantage of the big revenue and engagement opportunities in the event space, Town News has partnered with Evvnt. Evvnt is a best-of-breed solution that replaces legacy event calendars with a platform that's laser focused on generating new advertising revenue for news sites from ticketing, syndication, print, voice, social, and email marketing services, while also helping consumers find high-quality local events. At today's special webinar, Richard Green, CEO of Evvnt, and our own Rick Rogers will show you how easy it is to earn money from the digital event promotions and ticket sales that happen on your site. We'll talk about selling tickets and marketing local events on your site, following best practices to guarantee that you're maximizing calendar revenue and delivering a great experience for your visitors, promoting your ticketing and event marketing businesses, and capitalizing on your knowledge and contacts in your community to generate event listings on your site. I'm sure there will be much more as well. If you have a question, please feel free to type it into the Q&A box at any time. With that, I'll pass it off to Rick.
Thank you, Aaron, for that introduction. And thank you to all the Town News partners who are participating live on the webinar this morning or listening to the recording. Town News is excited to announce that we are nearing the end of our calendar platform upgrade project, which will provide the robust event calendar solution to your media organization at no setup or monthly cost. And it will help you generate a new revenue stream through marketing events in your community. If your website has not received the powerful event upgrade yet, it's coming very soon. Our goal is to have all eligible calendar users live with the event platform by June 30th. The Town News team will be handling the setup of the calendar for you, and the event team will be working with your team for training and onboarding needs, so you can take advantage of all of the great things the event platform brings to you. So in summary, here's what you will receive: an enhanced revenue-focused calendar program from Evvnt at no additional setup or monthly cost. Town News will be setting up the new calendar widgets and add links to help with calendar and event submission discovery on your site for you at no extra work for you and your team. The event team will be available for training, onboarding, and best practices, and you will start earning revenue on day one through a revenue share from Evvnt. And the timing for this project to near completion couldn't be better, as live events are coming back now and will be roaring back, fingers crossed, in the months to come. And that's why I'm so excited to bring Richard Green, CEO of Evvnt, into the conversation to help us spotlight the benefits of the event calendar upgrade. Richard, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. I'm not really sure where we go from there, Rick. You've kind of nailed it. It's we've got a phenomenal events calendar product. There's a few more pieces to the puzzle, which I'm hoping to showcase and show today. Revenue generation and event submissions have already begun across the Town News client base. And what's really exciting is, we actually acquired Geotix last year in May, and we've been very busy getting the ticketing engine under the bonnet of the events calendars, and to see event creation, to see ticket creation automatically within the self-service, and to see marketing sales occurring for your clients just from this implementation. You can see there's the opportunities organically there, and there's a few announcements today. We have just launched a Sales Success Academy where we're actually working with, and we're aiming to get around 50 sales operatives from news media companies to join us to contact potential customers to find those ticketing and marketing leads. So looking forward to the chat today.
Well, as well as I am. And, the reason why Evvnt and Town News have come together is that at Town News, we are always looking for ways to provide new revenue streams and strategies to our partners. So Richard, let's talk a little bit about the project that our teams are working on right now. So we're working to make sure, as we provide the event platform to our partners, we're making sure that the widgets, the calendar program, is highly visible on the sites. We want to make sure that the readers can discover the calendar, that event programs can use the calendar to promote their program, promote their event, and bring visitors to the event as well. So, Richard, why is optimizing the calendar program so important? Why is it beneficial to our media partners and to their audiences? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of the challenges when we launched Evvnt 2.5 years ago in the US was the implementation of the calendar was very important. If you think about it, the news publisher has a lot of categories and content that they want to share with consumers, but generally they've never really generated any revenue from events. So it's been hidden in the navigation. So when we worked with Town News, Mark Philby, who's been a phenomenal asset on this project, he specifically wanted, he actually came to us and talked to us about how main navigation to calendar, the physical calendar being accessible in mobile. He talks about how we should have content widgets around key traffic areas on the site because these content widgets deliver sports events on sports editorial pages, bringing consumers to sporting events and allowing event submissions for sports. It's really kind of cool. And also what we found, which was really cool, Mark would be adding links in the footers of the website to promote an event and to find the calendar. We were actually transacting and generating sales before the calendar went live. So Mark's been really cool in figuring out how to do the right implementation. Fundamentally, with a good implementation on a revenue generating event calendar, it allows consumers to find the content easily, event creators to submit a content easily, and that creates a healthy, organic event discovery solution that creates organic revenue and high quality leads. So critical.
So a perfect implementation to you is what on the website?
Well, we've actually documented it in full in a document that we can share. So if there is anybody, I'll share my screen if you like right now, but if anybody wants to read the physical implementation that we do, we actually do have it fully documented. So it is basically an implementation where you get to have the calendar on the site, navigation directly to that calendar, and we have links in the footer that get people to the calendar and to the event submission workflow. So that document can be shared if anyone wants to read that in full.
That'd be great. That'd be great. So, the goal is to have the perfect calendar implementation, but that's not all. Once you have it on the site, you have to market it. So how can Evvnt help to make sure our partners can get the word out that this great new tool is available to their audiences and also those who hold events in their communities?
Well, marketing starts with the implementation. We've really just watched what publishers have been doing once their calendar's actually been live. And we've seen publishers sending out email marketing to their venues and business base. We've been in active conversations with publishers to automate events into email to consumers. We have Adams, one of your clients, that's really adding print in every market where they're opening up, because the print page promotes the event submission online, because if you buy online, it appears in print. It's a connected print solution. So social media, email marketing, print advertising, a print calendar. And one of my favorites is just getting the organization and the people that work with the organization excited. So we run weekly webinars for all stakeholders. We run weekly webinars for the editorial team, for the sales organization, and for event creators. And you can sit in those every week if you wish to. So just creating awareness and energy around events as a product and as something that's really interesting to both consumers and event creators.
And is it true, Richard, that on your website you have some materials in terms of marketing best practices that you can share with partners as well?
We do indeed. We actually are constantly building collateral for publishers to use. So we produce white label media packs. We have one pages that you can drop in a logo. We're actually just engaged with our print partner, Metro Creative, and we're actually producing more of this content on demand for Adams at the moment. So not only do we have collateral that you can pick up and use straight out the box, we're also happy to produce more collateral based upon specific needs in the market. That's not a problem either.
Great, great. So the calendar is launched, the marketing is out. Now we have readers and event organizers using the calendar to both see what's going on in their community and promote their events. Can you show our media partners on the webinar and listening to the recording what the event organizer sees, Richard, when posting an event on the site, and the value that these event organizers will get in terms of reach? I would love for you to be able to show a little bit behind the scenes.
Sure. Well, let me start by the toolkit. It's a very unusual toolkit, and it has to be a little bit special because event discovery and revenue generation hasn't been seen. I don't feel like it's been seen across the industry. Most of our publishers that we speak to have a $0 when it comes to revenue from events. And that's why it's like interesting to see how we're constructing it. And we're in a very unusual position because of the pandemic, because events have been off, but they're about to turn on. When they turn on, they're going to be looking for some stuff. And this is our toolkit, just before we get into the product, of what we supply. There's an events calendar that acts as the discovery mechanic, but it's also a net capturing event submissions and potential customers who are trying to promote their event. We have a sales CRM. If you have your own CRM, the data can filter in, but we have our own sales CRM that allows you to reach out to customers and speak to them about their submission. They came to you to get marketing. They just don't realize how potentially interesting that could be. And an upsell online, but also an upsell through the sales teams is helpful. This one's just really important. We are a primary ticketing company. We bought Geotix. We, as an industry, can compete with Eventbrite head to head in the market. And that's a $1.7 billion company. That just shows you the size of the opportunity. Print, we can reverse publish to print, getting content online into a print solution, and it's delivered. Takes no longer than 30 minutes to sharpen and put into print, and it's connected to self-service, online transactional self-service. And lastly, mobile. We have a mobile app solution that puts your product into channel. Now, those products together are today delivering sales results. So what you're looking at here is just literally your customers at Town News by brand and by channel that are seeing revenue results, $800, self-transact for email, $145 for a single event being promoted. So the self-transact side of our business is actually working really well. So how does that work? We basically place an event calendar on a news publishing site, and we place those content widgets around the site to draw in more traffic and awareness. And what you're looking at here is an events calendar. Usual stuff, navigation, search, where and when, some featured carousel, map with some events on it, and then there's the listing. What you're not really seeing here, which is super important, is that button there takes you into the workflow for self-transact. An event creator can create an event. But more importantly, you see that advertisement right there for Brookville on Tap. That customer not only submitted an event through the workflow, they're in a premium position because they bought advertising. But if I look at the listing, they've also set themselves up for ticketing. What does that mean to a publisher? It physically means that an event submission content is being delivered at a calendar and site level. The self-service workflow that we've got in place has generated advertising revenue, and the customer is on our ticketing, which means we're generating more revenue when ticket purchases occur. That is very unique. Usually they're getting a free listing and we're selling tickets for Eventbrite. So now the publisher's in charge of collecting ad revenue and selling tickets. That's quite a dynamic state for a publisher.
Richard, on the ticketing piece, I think it's important to kind of dig a little bit into that. There is a revenue share back to the publishing partner on tickets that are sold, correct?
Absolutely. It's actually ticketing is sold as a cost on top of the ticket price to consumers. So if an event creator wants to generate an event for $10 a ticket, they get their $10. So in theory, ticketing is free to the event creator. However, in the world of ticketing, what happens is when the consumer buys a ticketing, you may have gone to a Britney Spears concert and you've seen there's fees on top of the ticket price. We add a percentage, 4%, $1.50 per ticket, and 2.5% to cover the transaction. So that revenue that's generated right there has 100% margin for the publisher, and we revenue share that margin with the publisher. And if they want to increase the percentage and the cost per ticket, or reduce the percentage and cost per ticket, that's at the control of the publisher. But 100% margin fee structure in the events ticketing space, $14 billion industry in the US, and that's a revenue share with the publisher. As it's the same revenue share model as per the event marketing solution that we supply today and revenue share on.
And then one final thing for some context, Richard, is the sales CRM. I think that's really important to talk just a few minutes about, is that, yes, events can come in, self-submission, but then there is an upsell opportunity for the newspaper staff to then go to that event organizer and upsell them in print, or upsell them in another digital marketing package. So that's a great tool for their sales teams to use internally as well.
Well, the screen summarizes this up right now. This is one of my favorite screens, and it just shows the model in action. You place calendars onto your brands. This is an example of it. Every single name here is a published calendar. Our calendars then collect customers. Obviously, those customers submit events. They buy packages, and we get conversion rates. This account has over 36,000 customers that have submitted events to calendars. And what I find really interesting, we have a little model in here that looks at revenue over events by brand. And what we're proving is an event submission is worth dollars. If you're collecting event submissions from the market, or if your editors are actually creating event submissions, those event submissions have a dollar value today. And what's really interesting, if I click on that dollar value in some markets, Rick, you'll see in some markets the dollar value of an event is high. Like we're talking, lunch, dinner for an event submission. And if you look at the conversion rates in some markets, the conversion rate from events to premium is very high. The average e-commerce transaction in a checkout is 2.7%, and our site has a 4.9% average across the entire network. The challenge, and it's a glaring challenge, is the publishers at the moment, and because of a pandemic, are scared or reluctant to promote their calendars and encourage event submissions. But if I was to tell you today, Rick, that if you owned the Star Courier and you were making $167.26 for every event that came in, and it was a 55% conversion, every 2 events, 1 will buy. That's the challenge, is getting behind attracting event submissions, because the model works, but event volumes are the challenge.
And they're coming back. I mean, events are coming back, no question. And that's why I think what we're doing, and why we're having this webinar today, and why we're working to complete the project by the end of June, is that events are absolutely coming back. So this is perfect timing. So let's Richard, go back to, what does the event organizer see? So I'm going to be hosting an On Tap festival. I want to promote it. How do I do it?
So this is really super simple. So we talked about the implementation. The implementation puts a calendar on the website, and at the top is the promote your event workflow for an event creator. If you go on to a physical listing, you'll see on every listing, there is a promote your event URL. Now, in the footer of the website, there's a promote event URL. And also, don't forget, every widget that you have around your site has a promote your event URL. You can't get away from it. If you want your event to be here, we ask for 3 questions that basically provide the product and the pricing. Now, as a side point, we're actually training sales reps to use their own calendar and this workflow to price on the phone sales. So when they call their key accounts to talk about the service, they're like, well, what do I say and what does the product do and much does it cost? If you put in here a title of an event, a category of an event, and the location of the event, we deliver back to the event creator or the sales rep that's using it as a sales tool, a page of information that sells the premium service. And I'm just going to walk you through this. So I've just basically added I've got a jazz event or a live jazz event in this instance in Cincinnati. And when I've added that into the system, this page is designed to tell you how it works, the features that come with it, the pricing of the service, there's some testimonials, and there's an FAQ. What more do you need to be convinced? If you roll down, we charge a single price to promote one event. Events break into a single event, let's say a festival. They break into bundles of events, let's say a training course over a quarter, and they break into subscription, things like arts, theater, comedy that are on every month. And the model is simple. If you have one event, it's $145. If you want to buy a bundle of credits, there's a discount. You can see it's $1,305. It's been dropped down 10%. But if you are a comedy club and you're doing 10 events every month, it's a huge discount, but you are then signing to a $612 subscription package. That's a $7,000 deal over the course of the year. And just to reiterate that stat for you, 4.9% of our customers today going through this workflow to submit an event will buy here. If they don't want to buy, so let's just say that's 95%, they can always go for free. So that's the pricing model, single bundle subscription. And if they don't want to buy, they can just submit their event for free.
Got it.
In terms of product, so what do they get for their money? Well, you're a jazz club. You're spending $145 or $62, depending on how many on the package. What do you get for that? Well, you get a listing on the calendar. You get in that featured carousel on the home page and on the category of jazz, live music. The map pins actually are bigger and they have an exploding image for premium. There's some social reposting tools that we include. They could use our ticketing, but we also allow them to submit their own ticketing if they've got a ticketing preference. We obviously want to flip them out of that at some point, but ticketing is available, self-service and inclusive. There is a report that shows them exactly how the marketing is delivering clicks, registrations, and revenue if they're using our ticketing. One of the questions from the print papers are always, well, how long does the advertising last? In digital, it lasts from the day of submission to when the event ends. That's huge. If my event's today, it's going to end, it's 24 hours of advertising. If it's in 3 months, I get 3 months of advertising for $145 or $62, which is pretty good. And lastly, event comes from a syndication model. The Town News network that we've onboarded with calendars now forms the distribution network of our premium service. So not only is it listed and in premium positions on the publisher's website, it also is syndicated out to a list of sites. And if I click on that little button there, it'll take me down to the site list that's relevant to jazz in Cincinnati in this instance. So every category is different and every location is different. But for $145, or if they're more of a consistent jazz event club, $62, submission, featured, premium map pin, full reporting with ticketing underlining that model, and then syndicated out to a host of event listing sites within our network and the Town News network. And the reason why that's so important is that if you do list your content on a lot of sites very quickly, we're talking instantly on the Town News network, you're accessing an audience very, very quickly. You could imagine a jazz event going onto a single website, not so much, right? But you place a jazz event on 50 branded sites instantly. Not only is there a large audience on those sites, we're also getting pages created that are being picked up by Google and indexing very aggressively as part of that SEO play. And you can see here, there's the summary. like Cincinnati.com, I think has something like 6.2 million unique users, but the network has 58 million and the 50 publishers. So it's very, very, very powerful. And what you're seeing here, the summary is simple, quick, affordable marketing for the event creator that's connected to tickets that provide return on investment information on the reporting that shows registration and revenue. You spend money, you get a highly qualitative service. It's affordable because we discount it well based upon your need. And then we go and link that to registration and revenue and show that it works. Retention is the focus here. We want a lot of customers very happy and using this service every day in their business, in their local events business.
There is no question the premium features and offerings that are within this program creates a tremendous value for the investment that the event organizers would pay. And that's why we're so excited about this, because this is going to be a huge opportunity for our media partners to really look at the calendar and the event space as a revenue opportunity for them. And I think one thing, Richard, we want to talk about is the pricing that you showed. That is customizable. It's flexible. The publishers have options, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario that event says that all events have to be priced this way. You might talk a little bit about pricing flexibility in the marketplace.
Yeah, so I'll show you. So we call this a snap sell page. It basically it's a silent salesman, the one pager, but it's an entry point to self-service. We know from the category of the submission and the location of the submission, the price that we recommend. There is a full breakdown of pricing, but if you're a local church, you don't care about everything else. But our pricing model is designed on a model to align the right price with the right event creator. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we map categories to plans. So if you can think of the word community, in there is churches, charity, fundraisers, lifestyle, maybe more lectures, arts and travel, entertainment. That's the primary events revenue area, because it's things that generate ticket sales and revenue. So nightlife, music, opera, retail, ballet. Professional is more training, networking, business events. And then you have enterprise, which is more conference and exhibition. So all of our 600 categories are assigned to plans. And when an event submission comes through, it can always be submitted for free, but we have a price point that works for the category. And that's proven. Gannett is one of our bigger accounts in this portfolio. Their third highest revenue category is churches and local events through community, because the price point is right for that particular market. So pricing here is set. So to Rick's point, it's like, well, what flexibility do we have? Well, we offer 3 price variants. And what that's designed to do is allow you to decide whether your calendar is in a small market, a medium market, or a large market. And all you have to do really is go, well, if I was offering out my community, lifestyle, entertainment, professional, or enterprise events, if I was offering that great product, does this pricing for a single upset anyone? And does this price here for a subscription, does it feel right? Now, if it feels too high, then I would recommend dropping down to a medium market. Or if it still feels too high, you can go down to a small market, like a church event could be promoted at $25. Now, if this model doesn't work for you, or if you were wanting to add print to your service and you wanted to charge more than what we're recommending, we can create pricing on a bespoke per calendar basis. We try and recommend choosing one of these 3, large market, medium market, and small market. And then we recommend looking at your conversion rates in your account to see whether we're selling. If you've got events coming in and they're selling at 50, 60%, you haven't got a pricing issue. You've got an events marketing, an event volume issue. If you've got a lot of events coming in through one of your calendars and they're not buying anything, it's potential that the price is too high in that market. So we start with large. We evaluate that after 3 months. And where we see high conversion rates, we hold. Where we see no conversion rate to sale, we go smaller on pricing. And if you did want to move to a print solution where you think that actually for $45, it's too cheap for print, we could change that on a bespoke basis to $145 because you're now putting print as part of the bundle. So plenty of options on pricing.
So they can move up market or down market after, say, 30, 60 or 90 days based on conversion rates. That's good to know. Good to know. That's great.
Yeah, I think it's just really smart to look at your conversion rates. If your conversion rate is 0 on 7,000 events, I'd be looking at changing that. But if your conversion rates are very high on the large market, you haven't got a sales issue here. You've got an event submission issue. We're not promoting the calendar enough. So statistical reasons to get the pricing versus just guessing. That's kind of our approach.
Always love to base it on data, no question. So, Richard, one of the questions that we've received during the migration project so far is, how does Evvnt handle community community events that may be free to the public, or church events, which you show that you can charge a lower rate for, but there is a free option that they can still take to market, correct?
Yeah. So on the right-hand rail here, it's very clear. Free listing. Upgrade later, you don't have to go premium. There's two things actually, Rick. There's three things that we did actually for the community customer. Not everybody wants to pay. Not everybody has the budget to pay, but they still want to provide you incredibly attractive content. And I personally think of every event creator as an extension of my editorial team. It's really hard to get events data in through editors because the data dies. It ends very quickly. So having good quality venues out there submitting data is amazing. So when they come to submit an event, there is the free option, and you can always submit a free event. The second thing that we did for the free submission is this is like a year ago, our event submission form was called Advanced. It was a 6-7 stage process to submitting an event, and that community event submitter wanted something quicker. So we produced the quick form, and the quick form is a quick single page go. The last point on the community submitter is we are aware that they're wanting the ability to create a single event like this, and they're wanting to set it up for recurring, so it happens twice a day, every month. So it's a single submission that recurs. We had our recurring model at Evvnt, and then Geotix, the ticketing company, had theirs. And what we had to do, which has caused a little bit of a challenge for us, is we had to get rid of the two models and produce one. So we've been working for the last 3 weeks on launching and building a new recurring solution for the local community event creator. And I'm expecting to launch recurring events in the next 10 to 14 days. And that will allow a local library to go, look, this is a quiz night on at the local library, and it's on every Thursday, and they can run it for the next 3, 6, 12 months. And it's a single submission that just recurs. So that one, I think, is the one that everyone's been screaming for.
Yes.
And that's the one that's coming in about 2 weeks. It's in development as we speak.
We just had a question in the Q&A about recurring events, Richard. So that's fantastic that you commented on that. Okay. What about dashboards? So you showed earlier a little sneak peek of what the media company will see in terms of how their calendar is performing. Can you just kind of go over really, what they should be looking at and how they can utilize the dashboard that they're going to be provided when they launch?
Sure. So every Town News customer will have been sent access to their back office. The back office, there's a lot going on here, but I'm sure the teams that use these kind of platforms, it's pretty obvious. We have an opening dashboard that kind of talks about the number of sites. Some of your clients have 60, 70, some have 1. It talks about event customers, events submitted, and revenue coming through. And there's financial reporting on both customers and sales. If you go into if you click on one of your publishers, it takes you into, you see that left rail just lights up. There's an editor CMS. So this is Austin 360. It's a publisher in Austin, and it has its own editor CMS for the editor. Now, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. editors can get onto weekly webinars if they need help. Every week, they can just learn. They can book one-on-one training with the team. They can check out their live calendar at a click. They can add their own events as an editor. They can even create venue customers that send emails to theaters to submit events. And then we have their own financial breakdown, their own metrics breakdown at a publisher level. So if you don't care about every publisher because you're just the Austin guy, this is the customers, events, sales, and the value of an event. In Austin 360, if an event gets submitted, it's worth $2.06. Going down, you also get a full breakdown on the data model. Like in Austin, believe it or not, we know Austin's on fire right now. There's 27,443 events going on in Austin right now. And we have integrations with Eventbrite, Ticketmaster, Active for Sports. We have the Austin 360 channel, obviously collecting their own events and selling advertising. You just got to touch one of these data filters and immediately it's just taken 167 events and sliced and diced those event submissions at the calendar into categories. And you can kind of see the data that's coming in. And this data is fully manageable by the editor. They can click on that link, take a look at the title, edit the information. And there's these features that the editor has control over that defines premium placement for free at the editor's discretion, but also it relays straight through to our print product. So there's full data control for the editor. Moving down to the Sales CRM. This has been lightly covered, but this is one of our hot areas. Every event submission gets converted into a highly qualified sales lead. Now, if there's anybody on the call that's ever worked in sales, I can tell you now, if a lead came into me today, and if I was to roll across here, I can actually filter event submissions by the value. Very unusual, but every event submission that comes into a calendar has some interesting information assigned to it. I know the publishing channel, the name of the customer, the email address, the telephone number, when they signed up, when they last logged in. I know how many events they've submitted all time, how many events are live, and the live event, we look at capacity, ticket price, and we multiply it to get you the value of the event. So this is a sales CRM that has fresh leads every day.
Great.
And every lead that we get has a value. And in theory, if you work in sales, you'll know that marketing directors normally have a 10% marketing budget against revenue. So in theory, that customer there would be open to a $7,300 pitch. That could be event, it could be print, it could be programmatic, it could be display. Like, what is it that the publisher wants to sell? And that's a lead list that's created self-service organically in the background whilst the calendars are just living and breathing on the site. So that's super cool.
Rich, we've had a few questions real quick, Richard, I want to make sure to address. So how do they get access to the dashboard? Let's say, my newspaper, I've received the event upgrade. How do I make sure and get access to the dashboard?
Well, we set up all of these accounts using an email from Town News. So in theory, someone will have been sent access. If that person's left or the email, maybe the email is just general and it got lost, the easiest thing to do is to go to event.com, and on the right-hand corner of event.com, there's a login. And I would advise they just log in. If they have any issues logging in, you'll notice on my screen, I keep getting chat pop-ups. You can always contact us. They could submit their email address. I'd be happy to receive emails directly through Town News or directly to me at richard@event.com. If you can let me know which brand that you're from, I can invite you to your account. But every publisher at Town News has been sent an invitation to access. If anyone on this call can't access, my first suggestion would be to go to the login on our website and try and log in. If your email address is recognized, you will go straight in. If it's not recognized, then we would need to add you to your account. I think the simplest thing to do would be to have them email us and just like, hi, it's Richard from Adams. Can you add me to my back office? And I will literally add them to their account, send them information, and just make sure that they, if they need any help, they can connect with me directly. So just email in if they haven't got access.
Okay, great. And then one quick question too is, can you sort submissions by date?
Absolutely.
On what you were showing. Okay, just want to make sure. Good, good.
Well, the final bit in terms of I've shown you there's 3 environments, and the last one I'm going to quickly show you, but I've shown you the front end in terms of event discovery, which has led to that event submission workflow that sells the product and pricing. I think we covered that today. I've shown you the back office in terms of some financial and statistics. I've just shown you a little bit about the editor CMS for editors. And I just showed you a little bit about the customer environment where sales reps can go in and look at sales leads. One of the features of our sales CRM is it allows a sales rep to access a customer's account. And lastly, I just want to show you what every event creator gets. If an event creator comes to your calendar and submits an event, they actually get an entire interface to see their event submissions on the site. This is an event submission by Linda. She has a full back office. Her event submission is here for the 24th of September. And if I click on the event report, her event has actually been listed as a free listing. And you can see here that Linda, while she didn't go free, she has tools to manage her event, edit her event. She could upgrade to premium or cancel her event at any time. No more emails to editors. She can manage her data herself on the site. And we're pushing Linda to upgrade to premium, obviously along the way. But I just want to quickly show you the back office. So just to let you know that the event creator as well gets an interface to be able to manage the event submissions that they've provided. So really saving editorial time as well here.
Yeah. You know, as I hope everyone can see, I mean, what an amazing upgrade to the calendar offering from Town News. And we are, again, so excited to show you, I think, many of the benefits that Evvnt's going to bring to your media organization and to your community and to the event organizers in your community. Aaron, I want to make sure that we give time for Q&A. I know we're getting close to the 45-minute mark. Do we want to go ahead and go through? I think we have a few questions that are in the Q&A box and in the chat box. And if there's others who want to ask questions, now is the perfect time.
Yeah, one question that just came in was, how can a local publisher enter events themselves? For example, if they receive an event via snail mail.
In the editor CMS, there is an add event button. So we would recommend that you send an email back to the customer or create them an account and ask them to submit their own events. That's what we would recommend. Why? Because it's really easy. It connects the event creator to a back office account where they can manage their event, cancel it, edit it, update it. They get all of this value in terms of free software. They get reporting to see how that event's performing on your site. And the difference between the editor adding the event and the event creator adding the event is that the event creator has a credit card and they're able to buy advertising. But if you want to add it, then in the back office of every calendar, there is a button. It's an editorial event submission button, and the editor can add as many events as they want. Those events appear on the reporting section as editorial submissions. So for example, if I click onto the Sant Angelo Standard Times, it will take me into the CMS. And on the CMS, on the top right, you'll see there is a back office add event button for an editor, or they can create the customer, send them access to submit their own events. It's up to the editor which option they choose. We prefer education versus you doing it. The editor will never buy advertising. And if there is a problem with the event the editor's put in, or there's a mistake, then you're the liability. You know, it's a liability if you're doing those submissions yourself. But again, that's the method.
Good approach.
Can you talk a little bit about the moderation tools that are available to websites to control what is appearing on their site?
Yeah, so all events that are on the site are fully accessible here. You can search for events. So let's just say we don't like comedy events as an example. The search result is automatically working for you straight away from keyword, and you can reject any events. But you'll see there's a moderation filter. So in the settings, you can set it so when events are coming in, they sit in a moderation queue. Our primary tool is that if you don't deal with the moderation, then they auto-publish within a time frame. So our calendars are designed to auto-publish. If there is a problem, you can deal with it from a live position. But if you don't like that and you want to see those events, you can add a 24-hour, 72. You can add a delay on the events going live. And as events are coming in, you click on moderation. All of the events you can see, check, reject, and you can either approve them to site or you can let them just auto approve. We have had a request to create moderation that's an absolute off, never go live. But I come from an eBay background. If we were the controller of events of listings to eBay, nothing would ever get live because the volumes are so big. So in 3 years of running calendars, we've had 3 events that have been an issue that really shouldn't have been on a website. It was with a company down in Augusta. So my general feedback is event submissions by event creators is usually good. If you have a problem, flick on moderation, but it's a delayed model. If there's further feedback on how they prefer that to be, we're a technology company. We're happy to build in. I think we are going to add off until approved, but it kind of makes me a little sad that events would just be sitting there because by the time they get approved, they might have ended. So that's the challenge with moderation.
Yeah, you know, one of our partners just chimed in, Bob Rose from St. Louis, the Post-Dispatch. He said they've had no problems with allowing events to go live. Very rarely has moderation been needed. And, you know, that's a market of 3 million people. So there's a great testimonial for that process. Aaron, what else?
Yeah.
Richard, can you talk a little bit more about the marketing tools that are available? For example, you're capturing the emails of the companies or the event creators. You're also capturing the emails of the people who are purchasing tickets. Can you talk about marketing tools that are available?
Well, there's marketing tools that are directly available for the event creator and also for the consumer. So I'll go and quickly cover that in a second. But for the publisher, we've actually converted everything that you're seeing right now in terms of data. We're converting that into developer tools in developer environments. And this was basically from publishers asking for this stuff. So your data is immediately available via an API, and we give you the API key and secret instantly. And there's technical documentation. You can access all of your event data and put it into content, email, social. You can convert all of your data into your own Salesforce, your own HubSpot, your own Excel sheets. So your data is available in an instance using this feed. We also, and this was actually for St. Louis Dispatch, who was just speaking there, Bob. We actually also converted the data into RSS. And this was a requirement from a publisher. It was Lee Enterprise. And this is an example of how Austin 3, every single publisher has this. And Austin 360 has access to their own RSS feed, and they have the information to extract that data in formats. You can even use this edit data sources and configure the data into an RSS feed. And that can be used into social feeds, into editorial content, and also into email products. So your data is available. And if there's other ways that you want it, like for example, if I go to the customer section, you can actually export into Excel. In the financial section, export into CSV and Excel. So we are like, there you go. You see, if you want that, if you just want the best data today's data from a specific site, you can even just download what you see. So we want to give you as much data access as possible. If something needs to be customized, just let us know and we'll make it happen.
Okay, so if I'm a site that already uses Event outside of this new relationship with Town News and Event, how does that work?
Financially or?
Well, the question is, we already use Event through a separate ticketing platform. Can the separate platform be kept, or will it merge into this other arrangement?
If the client that I'm thinking about has a GeoTix event calendar on their website, I think that might be the issue.
Yeah.
Those calendars are going to be replaced with the event calendar, but with the same data model. The event calendar from Geotix was designed to supply ticketing data from the publisher inside this calendar unit, and it was meant to just do a single function. What we've been working on since May last year is allowing the same data model, and I can show you this over on the data section. You haven't seen this. If you're a Geotix customer using Geotix Tech, using selling ticketing and using their calendar, I've been gunning to transfer you over into the event business since May last year, but it's quite technical and we're probably 80% towards achieving it. But what that will mean for you is when we migrate you from your current calendar to your new calendar, the calendar will look the same and have just your ticketing data within it, but all of the tools and functionality down here, including the Sales CRM and the add event workflow to a self-service ticketing create workflow, that will be available to you. So your calendar will be delivered to you like with just your ticketing data. But if you want to add third-party data, if you want to use the Sales CRM, you'll be able to. So I think we're probably 3 months away from migrating Geotix calendars to event calendars. When we do it, it will be like for like, but you'll be getting a call from Sarah or the partner team to talk to you about how you can activate lots of new features to create self-serve ticketing and enable you to use this platform to sell marketing to your ticketing customers. I think that's the question that was asked there.
When an event creator chooses community versus entertainment, for example, are they getting something different, more or different products? How do those categories differ?
It's really comes down to if you actually go and I can show you this in practice. You remember when we submitted the jazz event, you will have noticed there that particular event was going to maybe 50 sites. So usually community events go to a smaller volume of sites and enterprise events go to a much larger list of sites. So I'm just going to have a quick look for that now, but a local event is normally somewhere between 30 and 40. Entertainment like jazz, which is the one that we just did, that can be 50s to 60s. But for something like enterprise, which is conference and exhibition and trade shows, the distribution for those type of events can be literally up to 140, 150 sites. So generally, there's 2 things to think about. One, the pricing is relevant to the event creator's budget. And that really a conference paying more makes sense versus a church. But the amount of sites that we distribute to is significantly different on the higher page packages. So here's an example of a client that basically uses our enterprise service. I'm just going to flash something at you because for anyone out there that thinks that there is no money in the events marketing space, this is one of our clients that promotes events globally. And this is their booking schedule, 12 grand, 4 grand, 4 grand. This is their 8 pages of packages that they've bought with us over the last 2 years. This company spends around 40,000 per annum with us promoting their events. You can see they've got credits available. And I'm quickly going to show you a premium customers event report. And that point about do they get anything different for that higher price? Well, an enterprise event will be getting a huge amount of distribution, much more than a charity event, just because there is normally more sites in comedy live music. There's normally more sites for training, and there's definitely more sites around conference exhibition on a global level. And also people will travel for those type of events. So
that makes sense.
But that's the differential. It's just more site distribution from an event that gives it that price variance.
Okay. Is there a bulk upload event option?
There is a CSV bulk upload tool that we have access to. Like we have at Town News, there is some sites that have been highly committed to by the publisher. And upon request, we are migrating the data and bulk uploading that data as a free service. So if you have an event calendar on your site, or you're going through the process of getting an event calendar on your site, and if you sense that your data's not there, you just have to reach out to Town News and ask for the data to be downloaded and uploaded. And as long as it's still active, date stamp active, we will migrate that over for you. There is no bulk upload tool for an event creator. That's what recurring event will be predominantly used for: one submission, multiple events. And there isn't a bulk upload tool for the editor. The ambition is that event submissions are the driving focus, because that submission allows an event creator to ticket and buy advertising. So when you think about bulk uploading data, all you're doing is you're cheating the system. You're jumping over any commercial opportunity and you're adding just content. We did have a publisher this week that asked if we could add more local feeds and local cinema data to our data model. Absolutely. If we can add to our feeds, it automates. But we don't really want editors adding data manually through an uploader. We don't really want event creators doing that either. It circumvents the commercial opportunity. And also you'll find the data quality is quite poor. Just quickly to that question about what does it, this is an event report that's enterprise that would have cost $600. This client would click promote the event. It takes 10 to 15 minutes to submit an event. The free version would go to one calendar. This is a upgrade. This conference that's happening in the States, that's happening across pharmaceuticals, we can see here there's traffic accountability over there, 1,483 clicks coming in. This went out to 110 publishers. The publishers are local, national, global, targeted, industry specific. So local to Denver, could be targeted to conference, could be pharmaceutical. And then the list of sites that this syndicates out to is the powerful piece of the solution. But for a conference organizer to submit once, 15 minutes, get reporting and accountability, be distributed to 110 sites relevant to category and location. And I can tell you now, they'll be on the first page of Google, up to 70% for that event content. That's what we do. That's what we do as a service. Like nature.com, that's us. Organic, Global Newswire, that's us. That's the power of the event tool. No other event calendar is connected to all calendars delivering this premium syndication service. And that is how we generate the marketing value. And if it's ticketed by you, that marketing value converts to consumer ticket purchase. You get paid at the beginning and you get paid at the end, and it's a double bite of the cherry. The cherry is worth $16 billion in the States. That's what we're trying to achieve here with the publishers. This is a real business for any publisher that wants to engage.
Well, I think that's probably a great place to end. The revenue is key here. So that's a great point to drive home, Richard. For any other questions, we're running up against an hour here. For any other questions, you can always reach out to support@townnews.com or 800-293-9576. Richard, for event-specific questions, how should they contact you?
I think the key would be, I honestly would like to suggest, the key would be to make sure everybody on the call that has an account can get in. Because if they can access their back office, like what you're seeing now, there is a support section for help. You can create tickets. We respond within 4 hours on average. You can get one-on-one training, and there's weekly webinars. So my advice would be anyone on the call that wants to speak to Evvnt, access your account, use support, create questions and tickets, which will probably be answered by our automation on support, but you can speak to a person 5 days a week or watch a webinar every week. And this is really the route I would advise. This is self-service tools, but we have humans sitting behind those tools to support that process. And just one thing before I kind of finish today, the announcement today is we have just launched a Sales Success Academy. We launched it on Monday. We have 9 sales reps now working directly with our team. The Sales Academy very simply allows us to work with your sales team to convert to revenue. That might be marketing or sales, but we've actually created a Slack channel where we're trying to get 50 sales professionals actively talking and engaging with collateral, training, webinars, and help desk. And our mission is to enable publishers to generate an revenue that's substantial behind the implementation. The calendar, to reiterate Rick's point, the calendar has been implemented for you, full service by Town News. There is no fees. This is done for you. There's no monthly cost. It's revenue generating. And we encourage you to drive event submissions in. It will self-transact and generate marketing and ticketing revenue for you. And that revenue, in theory, could go towards a dedicated sales rep or allocating some sales time. And we have a 5 days a week sales academy with full access to sales professionals and teams, instantly available to answer questions, support sales inquiries. And we're even getting on sales pitches with the likes of Hearst to convert ticketing leads into revenue. So that's how you get hold of us. That Sales Success Academy is our latest release, and happy to talk to anyone privately and directly about how they access that program. It's free. We just want to help you guys be successful. That's our mission.
And right now we have over 700 websites at Town News that have the event calendar live. We are working over the next 6 weeks to get everybody else live and get access to the event calendar on their sites by June 30th, because we all know, as you can see by what Richard has shown today, events are already coming back, but they're going to come back in a big, big way the rest of this year and going into 2022. And that's why we're so excited to be able to bring this tool to your media company to drive a new revenue stream and really a major upgrade to your calendar on your website. Richard, thank you so very much for your partnership and for working with the Town News customer base on this solution. Aaron, thank you for hosting the webinar, and thank you all, Town News partner base, for attending the webinar, and thank you for being such a great partner with Town News.